Welcome back to our channel, World of Coins. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Abraham Lincoln wheat penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them because it could make you a millionaire overnight. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic and sought-after coins in U.S. history, the 1944 United States 1-cent coin. This small piece of history isn't just a simple penny, it's a coin that tells a story of war, survival, and remarkable craftsmanship. Grab your magnifying glass, because by the end of this journey, you'll be amazed at what this little coin could be worth today. The year 1944 was a significant time in American history. The world was in the midst of World War II, and the United States was fully engaged in the global conflict. The coin we're talking about was minted during a time when materials for coin production were scarce due to wartime shortages. The copper required for coins was needed elsewhere, for the production of ammunition and other wartime essentials. So, the U.S. Mint turned to an alternative metal, zinc-coated steel. In 1944, however, the U.S. government had managed to stockpile enough copper to resume the production of copper pennies. This made the 1944 1-cent coin somewhat unique, as it was minted in a year when there was a transition between zinc-coated steel and copper, which made some of the coins especially rare. If you're familiar with U.S. coinage, you know that the design of the penny hasn't changed too much over the years. The obverse, or front, of the 1944 penny features a famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln has been a symbol of strength and unity for the United States, and his likeness on the penny has become one of the most recognized images in American numismatics. What sets the 1944 penny apart from others, though, is its intriguing back. The reverse of this coin shows two stalks of wheat, symbolizing the country's agricultural abundance. The wheat ears design, as it's called, was used on the penny from 1909 to 1958. The design, which was simple yet elegant, was meant to reflect the strength of the U.S. economy during that era, but while the design is beautiful and timeless, the real story behind the 1944 penny lies in its rarity and the unique circumstances surrounding its minting. You see, while the 1944 copper penny is common, a rare variant exists, a key date for collectors. That variant was struck at the San Francisco Mint, and due to a small number of them being produced, it stands as one of the most valuable pennies in existence. This is the coin that collectors search for in hopes of finding the ultimate treasure. And the scarcity of this coin has only added to its allure and desirability. A major factor in the value of the 1944 penny is its condition. As with any collectible item, the better the condition, the higher the price. Coins that have been well preserved, without scratches, wear, or discoloration, are considered to be of higher value. That's because, as you can imagine, coins from 1944 weren't kept in pristine condition, they were used as currency and circulated for many years. When it comes to the 1944 penny, condition plays a huge role in determining its worth. Coins that are graded as mint state or uncirculated are worth significantly more than those that show signs of heavy wear. In fact, a 1944 penny in mint condition can fetch a much higher price than a worn coin from the same year. It's not just about age, it's about how well the coin has been preserved through time. As you might expect, finding a 1944 penny in mint condition is incredibly rare. While millions of pennies were minted in 1944, only a small fraction of them have survived in uncirculated condition. This is what makes the 1944 penny such an exciting find for collectors. If you happen to stumble upon one of these rare pennies, it could be worth far more than its face value. For those of you who are new to the world of coin collecting, there's something called coin grading that determines a coin's condition. The most common grading scale used by professional coin graders is the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1 to 70, with 70 being the highest grade possible. A 1944 penny that is graded as MS 65 or higher is considered to be in excellent condition, and it's these high-grade coins that attract the most attention from serious collectors. You might also be wondering about the specific value of a 1944 penny. Well, if you happen to own a 1944 copper penny that's in uncirculated condition, or, better yet, a rare version from the San Francisco Mint, then you're sitting on a potential small fortune. The value of a 1944 penny can vary depending on its condition and the mint mark, but let's just say that a coin in mint condition could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. It's important to note that the value of rare coins like the 1944 penny can fluctuate over time based on the demand in the market, as well as the rarity of the coin. With the right combination of rarity, demand, and condition, a 1944 penny can become one of the most prized possessions in any collection. Now, the big question: how much is the 1944 penny worth? Well, if you happen to have one in excellent condition, the value of a 1944 penny can reach an impressive $66,000. That's right, $66,000 for a single penny. It's a remarkable amount of money for something that most of us overlook every day. Imagine discovering one of these rare and valuable pennies in a drawer or box of old coins. It's a true hidden treasure, waiting to be uncovered. So, if you're a collector, or even if you're just someone who has a small collection of pennies at home, it's definitely worth taking a closer look at your 1944 pennies. You never know, you could be holding on to a piece of history that could change your life. Top 2, we're going to uncover the fascinating story behind the 1981 United States 1-cent coin, or what we often call the penny. You might think of pennies as the lowest denomination in U.S. currency, but the 1981 penny is a hidden gem in the world of numismatics. A small, often overlooked coin, but one that holds an exciting potential for collectors. The year 1981 was a significant period in American history. The United States was transitioning into the 1980s under the leadership of President Ronald Reagan. The economy was coming out of the stagflation of the 1970s, and the nation was on the verge of a massive shift in terms of its economic landscape. This was a time of inflation, changing interest rates, and rising debt, all of which had a profound effect on currency production. The 1981 penny came at a time when the U.S. Mint was dealing with issues of rising copper prices. In fact, copper prices had been steadily increasing for years, and the production of pennies became more expensive. The Mint faced a dilemma: it could either continue using copper for the penny, or it could look for a cheaper alternative. In 1982, just after the minting of the 1981 pennies, the U.S. Mint decided to switch the composition of the penny from mostly copper to a primarily zinc-based composition, leaving the 1981 penny as one of the last pure copper pennies produced in large quantities. This historical context makes the 1981 penny quite interesting. Many people are unaware that the composition of coins can change over time due to economic pressures. The 1981 penny, being made of 95% copper, has a different look and feel compared to the zinc-plated pennies minted after 1982. But it's not just the material that makes the 1981 penny interesting, it's also about the design. The obverse of the 1981 penny features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, has been a hallmark of the penny since 1909. The portrait of Lincoln is timeless, conveying the strength and resilience that the country associates with its 16th president. The image of Lincoln has been etched into the hearts of Americans for over a century, making it one of the most familiar and recognized coin designs in the world. On the reverse side of the 1981 penny, you'll find the classic Lincoln Memorial design, which was introduced in 1959 and remained in use until 2008 when it was replaced with a shield design. The memorial on the reverse symbolized the nation's reverence for Abraham Lincoln, whose leadership during the Civil War helped preserve the Union. This design, showing the interior of the Lincoln Memorial, was also the work of artist Frank Gasparo. It's a beautiful tribute to the legacy of one of the most revered presidents in American history, but what really makes the 1981 penny unique to collectors is the condition and the variations. Pennies that were minted in 1981 were circulated heavily, and most of them show signs of wear and tear. However, there are certain coins from this year that remain in near-perfect condition and are considered to be highly valuable. Collectors are constantly on the lookout for these pristine examples because the value of a well-preserved 1981 penny can skyrocket when it's graded highly. A coin's grade is important in determining its value, and for pennies, the grading scale ranges from poor to mint state. Coins that fall into the higher end of the grading scale, specifically those that are graded MS 65 or higher, can command a much higher price than those that are heavily worn or damaged. With coins like the 1981 penny, which were in circulation for many years, finding one in uncirculated, mint condition is an exciting prospect for numismatists. However, there's another reason the 1981 penny is particularly desirable among collectors. It is believed that the 1981 penny had a significant number of minting errors. These errors can range from double die obverse to off-center strikes. Minting errors are often highly sought after because they represent anomalies in production that make a coin more unique. As a result, certain 1981 pennies with minting errors can command incredible prices. One particular type of error that collectors look for in the 1981 penny is the double die error, which occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing parts of the design to appear doubled. This can happen to either the obverse or the reverse, and the result is a coin with a clear, visible duplication of the design elements. These coins are highly prized by collectors for their rarity and the distinctiveness of the error. Beyond just minting errors, the rarity of the 1981 penny is also due to the fact that it was one of the last years in which the U.S. Mint produced pennies with a high copper content. In 1982, the Mint switched to a cheaper, zinc-based alloy, making the 1981 copper penny a symbol of the final era of traditional U.S. penny production. As time goes on, these pennies will only become rarer, and their value will likely continue to rise, particularly for those in excellent condition. Now, let's talk about the big question: how much could your 1981 penny be worth today? If you happen to have a 1981 penny in uncirculated condition, you're already sitting on a coin that's worth more than its face value. But if you happen to own one of those rare examples with minting errors, or one that's in impeccable, pristine condition, you could be in for a serious windfall. The 1981 penny, in perfect condition, with no signs of wear and with all the original detail intact, could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. And, for certain rarer variations or coins with error strikes, it's not impossible for a 1981 penny to reach a staggering value of $50,000. Yes, $50,000 for a single penny, an amazing sum for such a small and seemingly insignificant coin. Imagine the excitement if you discovered that a coin you've had for years was worth a small fortune. So, the next time you go through your old change or dig into a jar of pennies, take a closer look at your 1981 coins. You could be holding on to a rare treasure that might just make you a lot richer than you ever thought possible. Top 3. We're diving into a truly fascinating piece of American history, the 1957 United States 1-cent coin, often known as the 1957 penny. While this may seem like a humble coin at first glance, it holds a wealth of history and a surprising potential for collectors. By the end of this video, you'll discover how a simple penny from 1957 could be worth a small fortune. Let's start by setting the scene. The year 1957 was an interesting one for the United States. The country was experiencing a post-war economic boom, and the Cold War was beginning to take shape. The American landscape was changing, new technologies were emerging, suburban life was on the rise, and the nation was firmly entrenched in the 1950s economic prosperity. It was a time of optimism, and the 1957 penny was a symbol of the everyday American experience. At this point in time, the United States was still producing coins that featured designs from the early 20th century. The penny had not changed much since its original design in 1909, with the image of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, on the front. The reverse side of the coin displayed a simple design featuring 2 stalks of wheat, hence the name Wheat Penny. The 1957 penny, like its predecessors, was made of 95% copper, a material that gave it a distinctive weight and color, which made it stand out from later pennies made from a different metal composition. The design of the 1957 penny is timeless and iconic, and it represents the values of the United States at the time. The obverse side, which features Abraham Lincoln's profile, was designed by Victor David Brenner. This design has been used on the penny since 1909 and has become one of the most recognized and beloved images in American coinage. The depiction of Lincoln on the penny is not just a symbol of the man himself, but also of the values he embodied: honesty, integrity, and perseverance. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find 2 stalks of wheat. This was the wheat cent design that had been in circulation since 1909 and continued to be used until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. The wheat stalks are a symbol of the nation's agricultural heritage and the importance of farming to America's economy. This design was simple yet powerful, and it resonated deeply with the American people during the mid-20th century. Now, let's talk about the minting process and how this coin was produced. In 1957, the United States Mint was busy producing a wide variety of coins to meet the needs of the growing economy. At that time, pennies were struck at multiple minting facilities across the country, including the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. The vast majority of 1957 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, but a small number were also minted in Denver and San Francisco. The mint mark, or lack thereof, can help you determine where the coin was struck. Interestingly, the 1957 penny was minted in the final years before the U.S. Mint switched to a new metal composition for pennies. The 1957 penny, like all pennies from 1909 to 1982, is made of 95% copper. This was a significant aspect of the coin, as the rising cost of copper eventually led to a shift in the minting process. In 1982, the U.S. Mint moved away from copper and began using a copper-plated zinc alloy instead, making the 1957 penny a rare relic of a bygone era. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that represent important moments in history or have unique characteristics. The 1957 penny is particularly attractive to collectors for several reasons. For one, it is part of the wheat cent series, which ended in 1958. Because of this, the 1957 penny marks the tail end of an era, making it a symbol of the transition from the old to the new in American coinage. The wheat design on the reverse side is also highly coveted, as it is no longer in use today, making it a nostalgic reminder of the past. Additionally, coins from the 1950s are often in demand due to their historical significance. The 1957 penny was minted during a time of economic growth and stability in the U.S., and it represents the optimism and prosperity of the post-war era. Because of this, many collectors seek out these coins to add to their collections as a way of connecting with the history of the United States, but what makes the 1957 penny truly special is its rarity and condition. While millions of these pennies were minted, only a small fraction of them remain in excellent condition today. Most of the 1957 pennies that you'll find in circulation have been worn down through years of use. However, there are some that have been carefully preserved and remain in nearly perfect condition. These uncirculated pennies are far rarer and, therefore, much more valuable to collectors. The condition of a coin is graded using a scale called the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1, poor, to 70, perfect. A 1957 penny in uncirculated, mint condition can be graded anywhere from MS 60 to MS 70, with the highest grades fetching the most value. Coins in excellent condition, with sharp details and minimal wear, are highly sought after and can be worth a significant amount more than those that are heavily circulated. But it's not just about condition, there are also variations of the 1957 penny that add to its allure. One notable variant is the 1957 penny with a double die error. This error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, resulting in a doubling effect on certain parts of the design. This creates a unique and rare version of the coin that is highly desirable among collectors. If you happen to find a 1957 penny with a double die error, you could be holding a valuable treasure in your hands. So, let's get to the big question: how much could a 1957 penny be worth today? If you have a 1957 penny in excellent, uncirculated condition, you're already looking at a coin worth far more than its face value. And if you happen to have one of those rare error coins, the value can skyrocket even further. The 1957 penny, depending on its condition and any variations, can be worth anywhere from a few dollars to tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, a 1957 penny in top-notch condition with the right characteristics can be worth as much as $59,000. Yes, $59,000 for a single penny. Imagine finding one of these rare coins in your collection or at a coin shop. It's a life-changing discovery for many collectors, and it highlights just how much potential value can lie in the smallest of objects. So, next time you're going through your pennies or browsing a coin collection, take a moment to check for those 1957 wheat pennies. You never know what treasure you might have. Top 4, we're taking a close look at a coin that holds both historical significance and immense value in the world of numismatics, the 1949 United States 1-cent coin, commonly known as the 1949 penny. While pennies might seem like the least valuable denomination, this particular year holds something extraordinary for collectors. Stick around to the end of this video, where we'll reveal just how much this little penny could be worth today. The 1949 penny, part of the famous wheat cent series, was minted during a time of transformation in the United States. The country was in the post-World War II era, a period marked by rapid economic change, technological advancements, and the beginning of the Cold War. It was a time when the U.S. economy was booming, and the penny, as a staple in everyday transactions, continued to be a key piece of the nation's currency system. During the late 1940s, the U.S. Mint continued to strike coins with the iconic wheat design that had been in use since 1909. The wheat cent, featuring 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse side, was beloved for its simplicity and its connection to America's agricultural roots. For nearly 4 decades, the wheat penny served as a representation of the nation's hard-working farmers, the backbone of the American economy at the time. The 1949 penny, as one of the last in this series, stands as a nostalgic reminder of a time when wheat was central to the American identity. The design of the 1949 penny itself is stunning in its simplicity. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll find the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Designed by Victor David Brenner, Lincoln's image has graced the penny since its first release in 1909, and it remains one of the most recognizable presidential portraits in history. The simple but powerful profile of Lincoln symbolizes the ideals of leadership, unity, and perseverance. His likeness is a tribute to the man who helped lead the nation through the Civil War and preserved the Union. On the reverse of the 1949 penny, you'll find the 2 stalks of wheat. The wheat cent design, which was introduced in 1909 to mark the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, has long been appreciated by collectors for its symbolism of agricultural life and American pride. The reverse design, also by Brenner, is elegant in its simplicity, with the words E Pluribus Unum and United States of America engraved around the wheat, accompanied by the denomination 1 cent. The 1949 penny is a fascinating coin for collectors because it represents a pivotal moment in American coinage. It was produced during a period of relative economic stability, but it was also part of a transition. The 1949 penny marks the end of the wheat cent era, which was replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial design. The wheat cent would only be minted for a few more years, making the 1949 penny one of the final coins in this series and a valuable piece of history. In terms of minting details, the 1949 penny was produced in large numbers at the Philadelphia Mint, which was the primary facility for striking pennies at the time. Additionally, small quantities were minted in Denver, where the mint mark D was added to indicate the coin's origin. The 1949 penny was also struck in San Francisco, marked with the mint mark S. While the majority of the coins were minted in Philadelphia, the Denver and San Francisco issues tend to be rarer, and this scarcity often adds to their value. It's also important to note that the 1949 penny is made of 95% copper, a composition that was standard for pennies prior to the 1982 shift to a zinc-based alloy. The high copper content gives the 1949 penny its distinctive reddish-brown color and weight. Copper's value was steadily rising during the late 1940s, making the production of pennies increasingly costly for the U.S. Mint. This eventually led to the composition change in 1982, but until then, the copper penny, including the 1949 issue, remained a symbol of American currency. The appeal of the 1949 penny to collectors comes down to a few key factors. First, the coin is a part of the classic wheat cent series, making it highly collectible for those interested in completing a full wheat penny set. Second, the coin holds historical significance. Produced in the late 1940s, it reflects a time of post-war prosperity and the beginning of the Cold War. As such, It serves as a tangible link to a transformative period in U.S. history. The 1949 penny is often viewed as a symbol of the nation's growth and resilience. Another important factor contributing to the 1949 penny's appeal is its rarity in certain conditions. While the U.S. Mint struck large quantities of pennies during this time, many of these coins were circulated heavily and are now worn down from years of handling. Pennies that have been well preserved and remain in near-perfect condition are much rarer, and collectors pay a premium for these high-quality specimens. Coins are graded based on their condition, with the most common grading scale being the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1, poor, to 70, perfect. A 1949 penny in uncirculated condition, meaning it shows no signs of wear, with sharp details and original luster, can fetch a much higher price than a coin that has been heavily circulated. The highest grades, such as MS-65 and MS-66, are especially desirable among collectors, and they can make a world of difference when it comes to the coin's value. Additionally, there are certain rare variations and minting errors that can significantly increase the value of a 1949 penny. For example, a double die error occurs when the coin's design is struck twice, causing parts of the image to appear doubled. This type of error can make a 1949 penny even more valuable, as collectors are always on the lookout for rare minting anomalies. Finding a 1949 penny with a double die error is a true treasure for any collector, as it represents an extremely rare mistake in the minting process. Now, the moment you've been waiting for: how much could a 1949 penny be worth today? A typical 1949 penny in average circulated condition might only be worth a few cents above face value, but if you're lucky enough to find one in pristine, uncirculated condition, the value can jump dramatically. A well-preserved 1949 penny, especially one with a rare minting error or from a mint with lower production numbers like Denver or San Francisco, can be worth significantly more. The highest-priced 1949 pennies, those in exceptional condition, or with rare errors, can command as much as $63,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A 1949 penny in perfect condition or with a rare error could be worth $63,000. This is an incredible amount for a coin that originally cost just 1 cent. It just goes to show that sometimes, hidden treasures can be found in the most unlikely places. If you happen to have a 1949 penny in your collection, it's worth taking a closer look to see if it might be one of those rare finds. You never know, you could be holding onto a coin that's worth far more than you ever imagined. Top 5 and last unique penny coin. We're diving into the fascinating world of the 1984 United States 1-cent coin. You might be thinking, a penny? What's so special about that? Well, trust me when I say that the 1984 penny is far more interesting than you might think. This small piece of American history holds secrets that could make it worth a lot more than you'd expect. Stick around until the end to find out exactly how much this coin could be worth today. Let's take a step back in time and set the stage. The year 1984 was an interesting time in the United States. The country was in the midst of the Reagan administration, which oversaw a period of economic growth, technological advancements, and significant changes on the world stage. The Cold War tensions were still a factor, but there was also a sense of optimism as the economy was booming. The U.S. Mint, during this time, was busy producing coins for a rapidly growing population and economy. The 1984 penny, also known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, was the latest version of the penny design that had been in circulation since 1959. This penny would be one of the last to feature the famous Lincoln Memorial design before the transition to the new Shield cent in 2010. So, in a way, the 1984 penny is a historical piece in its own right, representing an era of stability and prosperity in the United States. Let's talk about the design. On the obverse side of the 1984 penny, you'll find the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, which has been a staple of U.S. coinage since 1909. The portrait, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, is a symbol of integrity, leadership, and resilience. Over the years, Lincoln's face has become synonymous with the values of the United States, and seeing his profile on a coin still resonates deeply with Americans today. In addition to Lincoln's portrait, you'll also notice the inscription, "In God We Trust," at the top of the coin, as well as Liberty on the left side and the year of minting, 1984, on the right. These elements not only serve as a tribute to the nation's founding principles but also mark the specific time in history when the coin was struck. The reverse side of the 1984 penny is where things get interesting. The design features the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of national pride and one of the most iconic landmarks in Washington, D.C. The Lincoln Memorial has stood as a tribute to Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, and represents the enduring values of freedom, equality, and unity that Lincoln championed during his presidency. The reverse also features the words, United States of America, along the top, E pluribus unum, along the bottom, and the coin's denomination, 1 cent, in the center. The detail on the Lincoln Memorial is striking, with each column, each inscription, and each step meticulously depicted. This design was created by Frank Gasparo, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time, and it has become one of the most recognizable coin designs in American history. Now, let's discuss the minting of the 1984 penny. The United States Mint produced billions of these coins that year, striking them at its facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coins from Philadelphia and Denver were the most common, with the mint mark D used for the Denver Mint and no mint mark for coins struck in Philadelphia. The San Francisco Mint, on the other hand, produced proof coins that were sold to collectors in specially packaged sets. The composition of the 1984 penny is an important detail, too. The coin is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which was the standard for pennies at the time. However, in the years that followed, the cost of copper began to rise, leading to a shift in the metal composition of pennies in 1982, when the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-plated zinc alloy. As a result, the 1984 penny remains one of the last to be made primarily from copper, making it more desirable to collectors who value the traditional weight and feel of these older coins. While billions of 1984 pennies were minted, not all of them are created equal. The condition of the coin plays a major role in determining its value. Most of the 1984 pennies that you find in circulation today are worn down from years of use, but the ones that have been carefully stored and preserved are much more valuable. A coin's condition is graded on the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1, poor, to 70, perfect. A penny in excellent, uncirculated condition, especially one that has been well preserved since its minting, can be worth much more than a coin that has been heavily circulated. Some variations of the 1984 penny are particularly valuable, especially those with minting errors. A double die error, for example, occurs when the coin's design is struck twice, creating a doubled image of certain elements of the coin. This type of error is highly sought after by collectors and can greatly increase the coin's value. Another common error on 1984 pennies is the off-center strike, where the coin's design is misaligned during the minting process. These errors, though rare, can turn an ordinary penny into a rare collectible worth much more than its face value. The 1984 penny also has a certain level of appeal because it represents the final years of the Lincoln Memorial design, which was in use from 1959 until 2008. As such, it is part of a transitional period in American coinage. The Lincoln Memorial design was eventually replaced by the shield design, making the 1984 penny one of the last of its kind. As time goes on, collectors are becoming increasingly interested in coins that mark the end of an era, and the 1984 penny is no exception. You may be wondering, how much could a 1984 penny be worth today? Well, most 1984 pennies are worth just a few cents above face value, but the rare, uncirculated examples, especially those with unique errors or minting variations, can fetch a significant amount. In fact, if you happen to come across a 1984 penny in pristine condition or with an error, it could be worth as much as $51,000. That's right, $51,000 for a single penny. While this might sound unbelievable, it's the reality for rare and well-preserved coins that have become highly sought after by collectors. The value of a coin like the 1984 penny is influenced not just by its condition but by the rarity of the minting errors, the demand from collectors, and the historical significance of the coin. So, if you have a 1984 penny that's been sitting in your collection, or you happen to find one in circulation, it's worth taking a closer look. You might just have a hidden treasure on your hands. So, there you have it, the 1984 United States 1-cent coin, a penny that may have started out as just another coin in your pocket, but today holds significant value in the world of coin collecting. If you've enjoyed learning about the 1984 penny and want to explore more rare and valuable coins, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting. Keep an eye on your change, you never know what treasures might be waiting for you.